Welcome to another episode of Explained by AI. Ready to unlock the secrets to a lawn so perfect, it'll make your neighbors green with envy. We're diving into the art and science of lawn care, sharing tips and tricks to help you achieve that lush, healthy, picture-perfect lawn you've always dreamed of.
Achieving a perfect lawn involves understanding the science behind your soil and grass types, and then applying the right techniques. It's about combining knowledge with action.
Let's start with the foundation, the soil. I've heard it's important, but I never really understood why.
Soil is like the foundation of a house. You can't have a strong, healthy structure without a solid base. Just like a house needs the right materials, your soil needs the right balance of elements for your lawn to thrive. The first step is to figure out what kind of soil you have: sandy, clay-like, or loamy. Each type affects drainage and how well it retains nutrients.
Okay, so how can I tell what type of soil I have? And what about that pH level I always hear about?
Easy. Soil testing kits from your local garden center can reveal your soil's secrets, including its pH. Most grasses thrive in a slightly acidic to neutral range, around 6.0 to 7.0. This allows them to absorb all the essential nutrients they need.
What if my soil's pH is off? Can I actually change it?
Absolutely. If your soil's too acidic, adding lime will balance things out. If it's too alkaline, sulfur can bring it back down. It's all about fine-tuning the environment for optimal grass growth.
This is starting to feel like a recipe for lawn success. So we've prepped the soil. What's next?
Now comes the fun part: choosing the right grass. You need a grass that suits your specific climate and environment, just like you wouldn't wear a wool sweater in the tropics.
So there's no one-size-fits-all grass type.
Nope. There are cool season grasses like Kentucky bluegrass for colder climates, and warm season grasses like Bermuda grass for warmer regions. You can even mix different types for year-round green appeal. It all comes down to where you live.
I live in a region with pretty distinct seasons. How do I know which type of grass is right for my lawn?
If you experience those crisp autumn days and occasional frost, cool season grasses like Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, or fescues are your best bet. For areas with scorching summers, warm season grasses like Bermuda grass, Zoysia, or St. Augustine grass would be a better choice.
That makes sense. What about sunlight? My yard has a mix of sunny and shady spots. Does that matter?
Sunlight is a crucial factor. Some grasses thrive in full sun, while others tolerate shade. For yards with varying sunlight, you can actually blend different grass types to get a lush look throughout.
I like the idea of blending different types. So we've got the soil sorted, the grass type selected. What's next in our perfect lawn journey?
Now we need to give our lawn a drink. Watering is the lifeblood of your lawn. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. The key is deep, infrequent watering. This encourages roots to grow deeper into the soil, making your lawn stronger and more resilient during dry spells.
I've always heard that deep and infrequent advice, but never really understood why. It seems counterintuitive.
Think about it this way. Frequent shallow watering encourages shallow roots, making your lawn more susceptible to drought. Deep watering sends the signal to the roots to grow further down into the soil, where they can access more water.
So we're training the roots to search deeper for water, making the lawn stronger in the long run.
Exactly. And when you do water, early morning is the golden hour.
Why early morning?
Watering in the early morning allows the water to soak in before the sun gets too intense. This reduces evaporation and gives the grass a chance to dry out before nightfall, minimizing the risk of fungal diseases. Evening watering can leave the grass wet overnight, which creates a breeding ground for those pesky fungi.
So we're giving our lawn a refreshing morning shower. How do we know if we're watering deeply enough? Do we need to measure something?
After watering, insert a screwdriver or a probe into the soil. If it penetrates easily to about 68 inches, you're doing great. If it meets resistance, you need to water longer or adjust your sprinkler system.
Okay, that's a simple test. So we're aiming for that deep soak for a strong root system. Now, can we talk about mowing? I'm always a bit hesitant about how much to cut off.
Mowing is like giving your lawn a haircut, but there's a technique to it. The golden rule is the 13 rule. Never remove more than 1/3 of the grass blade height in a single mowing.
I admit I've definitely been guilty of cutting more than that.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to get the job done quickly, what's the harm in that?
Cutting too much at once shocks and stresses the grass. It takes time to recover and leaves it more vulnerable to disease and pests. Think of it like a drastic haircut for yourself.
I get it. Gradual trims are better than a sudden buzz cut. So we want those gentle trims to maintain a healthy lawn. Are there other mowing tips I should know?
Absolutely. Make sure your mower blades are sharp. Dull blades tear the grass, which makes it more susceptible to disease. And here's a pro tip that might surprise you. Those grass clippings you normally bag up, can actually be beneficial.
Wait, really? We're supposed to leave them on the lawn.
Those tiny clippings act as a natural fertilizer. They decompose and return valuable nutrients to the soil, just like a free, eco-friendly snack.
So we're creating a closed-loop system where the lawn feeds itself.
That's the idea. But make sure the clippings aren't too thick or clumpy. If they are, rake them up or use a mulching mower that finely chops them for easier decomposition.
This is changing my mowing game completely. I'm ditching the bags and going for those beneficial clippings. What about feeding the lawn? I know fertilizer is important, but those NPK ratios always confuse me.
Think of fertilizer as a balanced meal, providing essential nutrients for healthy growth. Those NPK ratios you see stand for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the three main nutrients plants need. Each nutrient plays a specific role. Nitrogen for lush green growth, phosphorus for root development, and potassium for stress tolerance and disease resistance.
So it's like a recipe, a dash of nitrogen, a sprinkle of phosphorus, and a pinch of potassium.
And just like with any recipe, the right proportions are key. The NPK ratio on fertilizer bags tells you the percentage of each nutrient. Choosing the right ratio depends on your lawn's needs and the time of year.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all fertilizer either. How do I know which fertilizer is right for my lawn?
Different grasses have different appetites, and their needs change depending on the season. For cool season grasses, their peak feeding times are early spring and fall, when they're actively growing. Warm season grasses prefer to be fed in late spring and summer.
It's all about tying the meals to match the grass's growth cycle. Are there any other fertilizer tips you can share?
Always opt for slow-release fertilizers. They release nutrients gradually over time, providing a steady supply of food, without sudden growth spurts or the risk of over-fertilizing.
So slow-release fertilizers are like time-release vitamins for the lawn, providing a consistent flow of nutrients.
Exactly. They're gentler on your lawn and the environment. Speaking of keeping things balanced, let's talk about weed control.
Weeds are my nemesis. They always seem to pop up in the worst possible places.
Yeah.
What's the best defense against these invaders?
Prevention is your best weapon. Pre-emergent herbicides are like an invisible shield, preventing weed seeds from germinating. They're typically applied in early spring, creating a barrier in the soil that stops weed seeds from taking root.
So we're blocking those weeds before they even have a chance to sprout. What about weeds that manage to sneak past our defenses? Those dandelions are persistent.
For existing weeds, we use post-emergent herbicides. They're like targeted missiles, taking out specific types of weeds without harming your grass.
So we can selectively eliminate those unwanted invaders. Are there natural methods for weed control? I'm trying to be more environmentally conscious in my lawn care routine.
Hand-pulling weeds is a tried-and-true method, especially for small infestations. It's a bit of a workout, but gives you that satisfying feeling of conquering those weeds, one by one. For hard-to-reach spots or stubborn weeds, you can try spot treating with vinegar or boiling water. Just be careful to avoid your grass, as these methods can also kill your desired plants.
Okay, so we're using these natural remedies with precision and care. We've covered a lot of ground: soil grass selection, watering, mowing, fertilizing, and weed control. Are there any other lawn care secrets I should know?
We've laid the groundwork, but there are two more essential practices: aeration and thatch management.
I've heard those terms before, but honestly, I'm not sure what they involve.
Aeration is like giving your lawn a deep breath. It involves creating small holes in the soil to relieve compaction. This allows air, water, and nutrients to reach the roots more easily.
So it's like poking tiny holes to help the lawn breathe.
Yeah.
Why does the soil become compacted in the first place?
Over time, soil can become compacted from foot traffic, heavy machinery, or even natural settling. This creates a barrier that prevents essential elements from reaching the roots. Aeration breaks up that barrier and allows for better flow of air and water.
That makes sense. So how do we aerate the lawn? Is it a complicated process?
There are special tools called aerators that remove small plugs of soil, creating those beneficial air pockets.
So it's like giving the soil a mini massage. What about those plugs of soil? Did they need to be removed?
Those plugs are actually beneficial. They decompose and return valuable nutrients back to the lawn. It's a natural cycle of renewal.
I like the idea of the lawn feeding itself. You mentioned thatch management. What exactly is thatch?
Thatch is a layer of dead grass roots and debris that accumulates on the soil surface. A small amount is beneficial, acting as a natural mulch, but a thick layer becomes a problem.
I've definitely seen thatch build up on my lawn. It looks like a matted layer of brown stuff. Why is it a problem?
A thick thatch layer prevents water and nutrients from reaching the soil. It can also harbor pests and diseases.
So it's like a blanket that's become too heavy and is suffocating the lawn. How do we manage thatch?
If the thatch layer is thicker than half an inch, it's time to dethatch. There are special tools called dethatchers that can be rented or purchased. These machines remove excess thatch, like combing through the layer with rotating blades or tines.
It's like giving the lawn a good combing to remove those tangles. Is there an ideal time for aeration and dethatching?
Timing is everything. For cool season grasses, early spring or early fall is best. For warm season grasses, late spring or early summer is ideal. This allows the grass to recover quickly.
We're syncing these tasks with the grass's natural growth cycle. This is a lot to take in, but it's so helpful to understand all these different aspects of lawn care.
It's a lot, but remember, caring for your lawn is an ongoing process. You don't have to do everything at once. The important thing is to start learning and adapting your care routine to your lawn's specific needs.
I'm ready to start putting this knowledge into practice.
Great. And remember, don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for your lawn. Every lawn is different and has its own personality.
I'm starting to see my lawn in a whole new light. It's more than just grass, it's a living ecosystem.
Now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about why having a great lawn is about more than just keeping up with the Joneses.
I have to admit, I've always thought of lawn care as mostly about appearances. Is there really a deeper reason to care so much about my lawn?
There's definitely a societal element. A well-maintained lawn can be a source of pride and even a way to connect with neighbors. But it goes beyond just looks.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about these hidden benefits of a healthy lawn.
Think of your lawn as a mini ecosystem. It helps filter rainwater, reducing runoff and erosion.
So it's acting like a natural sponge, soaking up all that excess water.
Those deep roots we've been talking about play a crucial role. They help prevent soil compaction, allowing water to penetrate deeper and replenish groundwater.
Wow. I never thought of my lawn as a water conservation tool.
It also acts as a natural air purifier, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen.
So it's like having a mini forest in my backyard,
Yeah.
helping to clean the air.
And don't forget about biodiversity. A healthy lawn provides a habitat for earthworms, beneficial insects, and even small animals.
It's amazing how something as simple as a lawn can have such a positive impact on the environment.
And let's not overlook the mental and emotional benefits. Spending time outdoors caring for your lawn has been shown to reduce stress and improve well-being.
There's something really therapeutic about being out in nature, digging in the soil and watching things grow.
It's a grounding experience, a reminder of the natural cycles of life.
So a perfect lawn is more than just a pretty picture. It's good for the community, the environment, and even our own well-being.
It can inspire others to take better care of their own green spaces, creating a ripple effect of positive change.
I love that idea. So how do we go from basic lawn care to creating a truly thriving ecosystem?
Remember those seasonal lawn care tasks we talked about? They're crucial for keeping your lawn healthy throughout the year.
Can we break those down a bit more? I'm ready to get my lawn prep for all the seasons.
Spring is all about renewal. Think of it as a spring cleaning for your lawn.
So what are the key tasks for spring lawn care?
Start by raking up any debris that accumulated over the winter, then tackle any thatch buildup. If it's thicker than half an inch, it's time to dethatch.
So dethatching is a spring ritual for a healthy lawn. What about aeration?
Aeration is also important in the spring. It helps relieve compaction and improve drainage, allowing for better air and water flow to the roots.
So aeration and dethatching are both important for a healthy start to the growing season.
Once the lawn is clear, dethatched, and aerated, it's time to feed it. Fertilizing in early spring provides the essential nutrients. The grass needs to jumpstart its growth.
So we're giving the lawn a nutritious breakfast to fuel its spring growth spurt.
And don't forget about those pesky weeds. Spring is the time to apply pre-emergent herbicides to prevent those unwanted invaders from taking over.
So we're setting up our defenses early in the season. What about mowing? When do we start that up again?
As the weather warms up and the grass starts growing more actively, it's time to get out the mower. Remember the 1/3 rule. And adjust your mowing height according to your grass type.
Spring is a busy time for lawn care. What about summer? How does our routine change during the hottest months of the year?
Summer is all about keeping the lawn hydrated. Deep, infrequent watering is essential to help the grass withstand those scorching temperatures.
So long, refreshing drinks rather than frequent sips.
And remember to water early in the morning to minimize evaporation.
Got it. Early morning watering is key. What about mowing during the summer months?
You can raise your mower height a bit during summer. This allows the grass to grow taller, helping to shade the soil and reduce evaporation.
So we're creating a little natural sunshade for the lawn.
And keep an eye out for any signs of stress, like browning or wilting if your lawn is struggling. Consider giving it a light application of fertilizer.
Summer lawn care is all about keeping things cool and hydrated. What about as we transition into fall? What are the priorities then?
Fall is all about preparing the lawn for winter. Start by raking up those fallen leaves. They can smother the grass and create a breeding ground for diseases.
So fall cleanup is essential for a healthy lawn. What else should we be doing?
Overseeding is a key task for fall. This involves spreading grass seed over your existing lawn to fill in bare spots and thicken the turf.
So we're giving the lawn a boost of fresh growth before winter sets in. What about aeration and dethatching?
If needed, fall is a good time to aerate and dethatch. These practices help prepare the soil for winter and allow for better absorption of water and nutrients.
So we're giving the lawn a final tune-up before it goes dormant.
And don't forget to fertilize in the fall. This provides the grass with the nutrients it needs to store energy for winter and emerge strong in the spring.
Fall sounds almost as busy as spring. We're cleaning up, overseeding, aerating, dethatching, and fertilizing. What about winter? What happens to our lawn care routine when everything is frozen?
Winter is a time for the lawn to rest and recharge, but there are still a few things we can do to protect it.
I'm surprised to hear there's anything to do in winter. I thought it was completely hands-off.
The most important thing is to minimize foot traffic on the lawn when it's frozen. Walking or playing on frozen grass can damage the plants.
So we're giving our lawns a break from all that activity.
And if you live in an area that gets snow, be careful when shoveling or using a snowblower. Avoid piling snow on the lawn, as this can create a barrier that prevents air circulation.
So spread the snow evenly, rather than creating snow mountains on the lawn.
And if you do notice any signs of snow mold in the spring, rake it up gently to allow the grass to breathe.
Okay. Winter lawn care is all about protecting the lawn from damage and ensuring proper air circulation. That's manageable. We've covered a lot of ground today, from seasonal lawn care to the environmental benefits of a healthy lawn. I'm feeling inspired to step up my lawn care game.
Great. Remember, every lawn is unique. What works for one might not work for another. It's all about finding what works best for your own little patch of green.
Speaking of finding what works best, I'm curious about alternative approaches to lawn care. I've heard about things like clover lawns. What are your thoughts on those?
Clover lawns are becoming increasingly popular, and for good reason. They offer a number of benefits, both for the environment and for the homeowner.
I'll admit, I've always thought of clover as a weed, something to be eradicated. What's changed?
We're starting to shift away from the idea that a perfect lawn has to be a monoculture of just one type of grass. Clover brings diversity, and with that comes a whole host of benefits.
Like what? Convince me that clover deserves a place in my lawn.
For starters, clover is a nitrogen-fixing plant. This means it naturally adds nitrogen to the soil, reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers.
So it's like having a built-in fertilizer factory in my lawn.
And it requires less water than traditional lawn grasses, making it more drought tolerant.
That's a big plus, especially with increasing water restrictions in many areas.
Clover's dense growth also helps to crowd out other weeds, reducing the need for herbicides.
So it's a natural weed control agent. I'm starting to see the appeal. What about the look of a clover lawn?
Clover adds a beautiful texture and a touch of whimsy with its delicate flowers. Plus, those flowers attract pollinators like bees and butterflies, which is great for the ecosystem.
I'm picturing a lawn dotted with tiny white flowers. It sounds lovely and much more eco-friendly than a traditional lawn.
It's all about challenging the conventions of what a perfect lawn should look like and embracing diversity.
This whole conversation has really opened my eyes to the possibilities of lawn care. It's about so much more than just aesthetics.
It's about understanding that our lawns are living ecosystems that can contribute to a healthier planet and a healthier lifestyle.
I'm excited to take all this knowledge and start applying it to my own lawn. I'm going to experiment with different techniques, maybe even try incorporating some clover.
That's the spirit. Remember, lawn care is a journey, not a destination. It's about learning, adapting, and finding what works best for you and your environment.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of lawn care. I'm feeling inspired and ready to get my hands dirty.
And remember, we're always here to help. If you have any questions or need more guidance, don't hesitate to reach out.
Do you have any topic that you would like to have explained? Drop it in the comments.